Year 1498. The Indian Ocean is the heart of global trade. Merchants from Arabia, India, and China converge at Calicut, the richest port on Malabar coast. But one day, foreign ships appear on the horizon, bringing with them the power to change the fate of an entire kingdom. Welcome to Mehfil with Chaarah. Today I'm taking you through the story of the Battle of Calicut, a clash that will shake the very foundations of South Asian history. It all begins in 1498 when Vasco da Gama landed in Calicut. For the first time, a European ship has reached India by sea. The Zamorin were rulers of Calicut, a major port city on the Malabar coast of southwestern India. They played a central role in the spice trade, especially black pepper, which made the kingdom one of the wealthiest and most influential in medieval South India. The term Zamorin comes from the Arabic adaptation of the Malayalam title Samudri, meaning ruler of the seas or lord of land. Originally minor chieftains, the Zamorin gradually consolidated power in the Malabar region. This region at the time was divided into several coastal and inland kingdoms. The most powerful were the Zamorin of Calicut, the Raja of Cochin, and the Raja of Travancore, along with smaller southern states. Among them, the Zamorin held the greatest influence, controlling Calicut, the key port for the spice trade, especially black pepper. When the Portuguese arrive, the Zamorin welcomes them with respect. Calicut, cosmopolitan and prosperous, seems secure, or so believes. But the Portuguese soon reveal the true intention. They seek a monopoly over the spice trade, a concept entirely foreign to Indian Ocean, where commerce has thrived freely for centuries. Sheikh Zainuddin Maktoum, in Tufat al-Mujahideen, says that they came again after 2 years, this time in 6 ships. They landed in Calicut and engaged themselves in trade. They approached the officers of Zamorin with requests to stop the Muslims from their trade and trade voyage to Arabia, promising to pay double the loss the Zamorin may suffer by preventing Muslims in this respect. Then they began to encroach upon the rights of the Muslims in all directions, so the Zamorin gave orders to capture and kill the Portuguese invaders. Following this, about 60 or 70 of them were put to death. The rest took their ill and sought refuge in the ship, and started firing from the ship to the shore. Thus on shore returned fire to the ships. In 1500, a trade dispute escalates. Portuguese merchants are killed during a riot. The Zamorin, pressured by repeated Portuguese demands to restrict Muslim trade, finally ordered resistance. The conflict turns deadly. As the chronicle records, about 60 or 70 of them were put to death, while the survivors fled to the ships. From there, just as the source describes, they started firing from the ships to the shore, triggering a violent exchange. Pedro Alvarez Cabral seized this moment to respond with overwhelming force. He bombards Calicut, destroys ships, and shatters any fragile peace. The stage is set, the Zamorin and the Portuguese are at war. In 1503, tensions erupted along the Malabar coast. Determined to drive the foreigners from his water, the Zamorin of Calicut assembles a massive fleet, dozens of swift Uru ships that have long ruled the trade lane of Indian Ocean. Facing them, the Portuguese are heavily outnumbered. But they carry a weapon unknown in these waters, large, cannon-armed ships designed for war on high seas. The battle begins off Calicut. The Uru charge forward trying to close in and board the Portuguese vessel. Fast and agile, they strike bloodily, but a light wooden frame cannot withstand European firepower. From a distance, the Portuguese unleash their cannons. Thunderous blasts shatter timber, the Zamorins' battle line buckle under the storm of iron. One by one, the Zamorins' ships fall apart. The Portuguese advance with cold precision, firing volley after volley, breaking every attempt at regrouping. In less than 1 hour, the balance of power in the Indian Ocean has shifted. For the first time, an European force dominates these waters. The spice routes open, covered by cannon fire. The Zamorin does not give up. In 1504, he assembles a massive fleet, possibly the largest ever on the Malabar coast. His goal: crush the Portuguese once and for all. But disaster strikes. The Portuguese fleet under Lupo Soares de Albergaria destroys nearly 200 ships in a single campaign. Calicut suffers his greatest naval defeat ever. This victory marks the beginning of European naval dominance in the Indian Ocean. After all these defeats, the Portuguese strengthened alliance with Cochin, Calicut's historical rival. The Zamorin attacks the Portuguese fort at Canano in 1506 but fails. He tries again with alliance with Egypt and Gujarat, but everything collapsed in 1509 at the Battle of Diu, where the Portuguese fleet annihilates all the Muslim power in the region. After 15 years of frontless conflict, battles at sea, siege on land, and burning of entire ports, the Zamorin of Calicut is exhausted. His kingdom has paid a heavy price. In 1513, he agrees something once unthinkable, a formal peace treaty with Portuguese. For the first time, he allowed them to establish a permanent trading post in Calicut. This moment marked a turning point. The world has changed. The Indian Ocean, once dominated by Arab, African, and Asian merchants, is now bending to the will of an European empire. The Battle of Calicut was more than a military victory for the Portuguese or a defeat for the Zamorins. It was a turning point in the world history. It marked the beginning of European colonial expansion in Asia and the end of an era when Indian Ocean trade was controlled by local kingdoms and merchants, a clash between two worlds with consequences that would last for centuries. Thanks for watching. If you love stories that changed the world, subscribe, like, and tell me in the comments what topic you would like to see next. Until next time, keep your curiosity alive. Bye.